Welcome along in everybody to the Red Card Radio news episode. We hope this is the one-stop shop, the only place you need to go for news relating to and pertaining to the English Premier League and surrounding competitions that English clubs are involved with. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below that, Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Boys, hello. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. We get 2 weeks off. There's no Chelsea football.
No one ever asks you, James, how are you doing?
I'm getting. I got my throat hurts a little bit. I've been a little sick this week, and I'm getting over it. I'm doing okay.
That's too long of an answer. I see why we don't ask you.
Oh. So you don't actually care how I'm doing?
Too long. Just give a couple words.
All right. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that sub notification bell. Rate 5 stars if you're on the podcast sites. Do all those things. Leave a comment down below. Join our Discord. All those things really do help us. We really appreciate those things. Let's jump right in, boys. Got some comments. First one, Joel had a comment on a podcast video that he was a part of. So big ups to Joel for commenting on a podcast that he was a member.
He gave you props.
I sure do, because he says, "Congrats to James for winning trivia." You guys can clap for me. What is going on here?
Oh, I got 3.
I got 4 off the rip.
Yeah, go on.
Are you thinking?
I got 3 too.
Are you saying that I paid him? Why are you doing the money sign?
That was my small violin singing for you.
You don't know how a violin works if you think that rubbing your index finger and your thumb together are violin. You got to go like this. That's how you play the world's smallest violin. Because a violin, you hold the violin and then you play the bow. I can. Okay. You want me to go get a violin? There's one in my basement. I can grab one.
Wow. Again.
Anyway,
too long of an explanation there.
Why do I do a podcast with you guys? Ridiculous.
All right.
Will chimed in, and this is my question for you guys. Do you guys think you guys can name the top 5 Juventus goal scorers?
Yeah. Would it be? My question for him would be: ours was in the EPL era, so is that all time for Juve?
Oh, he did it from 1990 onwards. Not 92, but 1990.
The problem is that one of the top scorers played for Juve from 90 to 95 is the thing. That's why he included him. So he texted me about this, and I got 2 off the rip.
I could. Oh no, that's Milan.
You guys should be able to get at least 1.
Pirlo.
No, it's Ronaldo.
Great.
Ronaldo is the one that you should definitely get.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So my initial guess for Will was Alessandro Del Piero, Mario Mandzukic, Carlos Tevez, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Trezeguet. Those were my 5 that I sent to Will to begin with. Yeah, Zlatan played for Juve.
Briefly.
Yeah, he played for Juve before Calciopoli, and then when Calciopoli happened, that's when he went to Inter. Anyway, so I got Alessandro Del Piero correct, obviously, and David Trezeguet. I got those ones right. I didn't guess Ronaldo at first. He gave me some context for Ronaldo, and then finally I got to Dybala was the 4th one, the 4 that he thought I could get. He did get.
I almost said Dybala.
He gave me some prodding for that one, and then the other one was Robert Baggio, who's an Italian legend. Like he's a legend of Italian football, a legend at Juve, but I wasn't going to guess him. He was playing in the 90s. But thanks, Joel. That was grade A trivia. I appreciate it. I know Jimmy is a sports guy, so whenever we have Jimmy on next, I'm sure he is going to cook up the most spicy trivia for us. I am very much looking forward to that. It's probably gonna be like baseball related or something. It's gonna be real nice.
I'll cross that.
Let's jump into the transfer market news. As you guys are well aware, if you pay attention to football at all, January is the month where the transfer market's open. So last week we had the news that Mykhailo Mudryk went to Chelsea, and then this week we had Leandro Trossard going from Brighton to Arsenal. So Arsenal have signed Trossard for £21 million guaranteed, £6 million in add-ons. So a total deal of £27 million for the 28-year-old Leandro Trossard. First off, how do you grade that transfer? Do you think that's a good transfer for Arsenal, boys?
Brad, before you answer that,
okay,
do you feel relieved?
That he didn't come. That we didn't buy another forward.
No,
Yes,
I'm
I
at,
do.
I'm asking this in the sense: do you feel relieved that you're not the only London club pillaging Brighton right now?
Oh yeah, we're going back in for them though. Don't worry, don't
You're,
worry. Next week we'll probably have another Brighton player to talk about going to Chelsea.
you're not the most recent London team to pillage Brighton.
But you guys did it this summer. You guys got Basoma in the summer.
Yeah, but we did it the least recent.
That's true. That's a
Wait,
fair point.
Brad took their manager, their whole scouting department,
oh
Cucurella.
yeah,
every,
Mitchell
every
Cuckoo.
and Cucurella.
Arsenal recently have taken Ben White and now Leandro Trossard. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, Brighton's going to spend £6 million and find some Slovenian guy who is just going to be
worth 50 mil next in 2
I was
years.
I was just about to say I saw a tweet from Liverpool Twitter that said, I don't know what's worse is that we could have had Trossard for that transfer fee, or that Brighton are just going to replace it with a U21 Venezuelan guy who's going to be better than Trossard.
exactly. So, but
Yeah.
to be fair, Trossard doesn't really help Liverpool. Like that would be another situation of Liverpool not addressing their transfer needs, but just signing a player because they're available, right? Like, anyway.
I mean, it gets to allow somebody else to play with.
Yes,
I
but
don't
like
know.
they
It
just
Like Liverpool
it
has
gets-
like 4 or 5 main players out. Like
it gives them a different dynamic than Diaz on the left.
True.
So,
But
so like
Diaz
those are two
hurt.
vastly different players on the left. But
Yes.
yes, Diaz is hurt right now too.
and they have Gakpo now that
But like
I think most players
when they're healthy, like you can use Diaz or Trossard, and that's two different feels from the left.
Yo, can you guys imagine this front four of Liverpool next year of Diaz, Nunez, Salah with Gakpo sitting behind them in the 10?
Oh, that's gross.
disgusting.
That's what I said. I was like, I think you guys were
If
talking
Nunez
about
can
him as
score.
a forward. I was like, if Gakpo's going to play the 10 like he did in the World Cup, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wait, if Nunez can score,
I don't know. You don't need Nunez to score 1,000 goals. Bobby Firmino didn't score a million goals when Liverpool were winning the title. It was Sadio Mane and Mo Salah who were scoring a lot of goals. You just need that. You need that threat. You need that threat of a goal scorer.
You need somebody to pull defenders.
And to be fair, we don't know that he can't score. He just isn't scoring right now. Maybe he's going to take a year to get warmed up to the Premier League, and next year he'll win a Golden Boot. We never know. We'll see. This news caught me off guard when I saw it hit Twitter sphere. I think it was yesterday or the day before, but apparently Chelsea are not finished in their pursuit of Enzo Fernandez. Brad,
nope.
what does that mean? How so?
It means UEFA has not closed our loophole yet, so he's going to sign a 12-year contract.
It's not a Chelsea loophole. It's an accounting loophole.
Sign the loophole that exists in the UEFA rules for financial fair play. There. Is that the better way of explaining it?
Well, you make it sound like Todd Bowley came up with this strategy when it's not a strategy. Other teams don't employ it because they understand the risks associated with it. You can't
And you know what's funny though? Like Atletico actually signed João Felix to a 7-year deal, too. So we are not the first to do this, or the first club to do it like almost every time.
Yeah, it's kind of
these big deals.
Like all of your deals recently have been 7 and 8 year deals.
Yes.
It's surprising to me that Brad is almost seemingly bragging about ruining his club's future financially.
Roman, what do you mean? Like this is football heritage. This is what Chelsea does. Ruining football. That's why Joel hates Chelsea so much.
No, I'm
Me
talking
too.
about ruining Bowley's pockets to the point that he has to sell Chelsea to just focus on the Dodgers.
What do you mean we have Clear Lake backing him? He's a whole financial firm backing him. What?
Well, but the point is that
Bowley's the face.
There's a lot
Of course, there's a huge.
There is a long-term damage that you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
Why?
There's risk.
I agree.
Not to the
there's
EPL.
risk.
Yeah, so say you signed Romelu Lukaku last year to a 7-year bajillion-dollar deal like you're doing now. You're fucked because he sucks and you're tied to him for 7 years paying him out your butt. So say you get that wrong 5 times because you keep doing this.
Well, that's the thing about
screwing yourself.
Lukaku.
Well, here's the thing. The worst deal they've done was Koulibaly's. And he had like I think 4 or 5 year contract. Maybe it's 3 with an option.
I'm just saying you're screwing yourself, not
Yeah,
the
4 year
league.
contract.
Like the rest of the league is looking at you like, okay,
Every player that we've signed to these 7, 8 year deals are all under 22 or 23. They're all under 23 years old.
Yeah. And like
So
when you're
like,
relegated, that's gonna be tough.
oh yeah,
the
relegation.
the problem, Brad, is that there's now restrictions in place with loans. Like the Chelsea loan army days of yesteryear are
Correct.
gone. And on top of that is that you have a restricted number of like foreign non-homegrown players that you can apply to your squad. And so at a certain point, like you're not going to be able to continue to operate this way. If
Oh no,
I don't,
I agree with you. I don't think this is long term. What Todd Bowley's going to do is spend 500 mil every year to buy a team. Like I don't. I think this is a very sped up rebuild. Like we are getting the players in that are needed to get this rebuild done. To like, because like Graham Potter's not going to be judged this year on like what happens. They've already said as long as we don't go on like a 10-game losing streak or 15-game losing streak, like Graham Potter's going to be there next year with all of these players. If he doesn't perform next year, then that's a conversation. So like let's get him all the players he needs now when we
You
can.
just kind of contradicted yourself because you said this is in one breath you said this is Roman 2.0, and then the next you said we're not going to spend $500 million every transfer period, which Roman did. So is this Roman
No,
2.0
no, he didn't.
or
No, he didn't. So look, here's what happens, right? Like this is what Conte explained: is you get your 14 to 15 players, and then you add 1 or 2 every year as they either get older or you sell somebody, you replace.
yeah, that's a fair
Like
point.
that's what's happening right now. It just I don't know if a 2 transfer windows back to back like this has ever been a thing. And that's why like it's super exciting as a Chelsea fan. And I get it as not a Chelsea fan, like bump that and all the money they're spending, they're ruining soccer, they're ruining the market and all this other stuff. Like I get that. I hear that. And like if it was another club, I would agree with you, but it's my club, so I'm happy and it's exciting and it's fun.
Is it exciting
Um
though? Like this is the problem. Like what I think is exciting about being an Arsenal fan is I can look at my club right now and I have 2 players definitively who have been in my academy since they were children. A third who is once he gets back from injury, our academy products. And then we have
okay.
like Granit Xhaka, who's been at the club for 8 years. Odegaard, who's a young player who chose to come to us. Martinelli, who has been with us for 3 or 4 years now. Like I look at these players and I'm like these are players who I feel attached to long term. Like
Sure, but those are players but you're so what Chelsea's attempting to do is what Arsenal did over like 3 years, right?
no,
Like
because
Arteta got all of his players this year. The plan came together this year. You just said it.
yeah,
Odegaard chose to came here after the loan. He wanted to come here. Um
yeah, but when I
Martinelli's been there for a few years. We have quite a few academy graduates in the squad.
yeah, but apparently you guys are trying to run Mason Mount out of town. Like I don't get
Well,
that.
Chelsea Twitter is trying to run Mason Mount out of town and they're stupid.
I don't get that at all.
I don't get that at all either. Like, why would you? One of the best young midfielders in the world is playing at your club. Sure, his form hasn't been great. Homie hasn't had a break in 3 years. He was our player of the year 2 years in a row. Went to the World Cup, came back, kept going. Like he hasn't had any time off. So of course he's going to be tired. Of course his like form is going to drop off. Yeah, I stupid. Um,
we also need to
like
remember
we've sped up the rebuild.
we also need to remember to be as least harsh as we can on especially the English players or European players on our teams. They just went season, Euro, season, World Cup, season
Yeah.
Yeah,
consecutively.
yes.
And now the World Cup season is season World Cup season, like in the middle of a season. So like they had this summer off. They had all summer off. So like that's being their time off. But like that's it.
When we
These
look
guys
back
haven't had any time off for crap.
when we look back at when the COVID break happened in 2020 until the end of this season, and even this summer is going to be truncated because the last game in the Premier League is on May 28th this year. That's like a full
Push back
2 weeks
because of the
later.
World Cup.
Plus, then you've got the Champions League, which will be a week after that, and then international stuff is going to be Euro qualifications, Gold Cups, things like that. Like international tournaments are going to kick off the second week in June, and then players are going to have to report back to training the first or second week in July if they're not with their international teams. Like, so it might not be until the end of the 2024 season, which then guess what has a Euro tournament.
Yeah,
a Euros in the summer of 2024. So like if we look back at like the 3 or 4 years after the COVID break and like the sheer amount of games that these players have played, the time off, and we compare that to like 10 years earlier, it's going to be shocking.
Right. So I don't know.
That's why it's why England needs to get rid of the League Cup.
I don't think anyone of one league does it, but like,
so apparently
we're gonna switch gears.
Yeah, we're gonna shift gears here a little bit because Brad wants desperately, as a Chelsea fan, to talk about Tottenham.
look,
He really.
no. This was a question. This was a question I had 2 weeks ago that we ran out of time for because like I was seeing this is when like the Conte out haters were like everywhere. Like they were more prominent than the Mason Mount haters. Is Conte the problem at Tottenham?
So when you first asked this, I put a lot of thought to it, and the answer is kind of a yes, in the sense that Conte is the same problem that the owners. So it's a yes and a no because Conte is the same problem that the owners keep putting in front of fans, and then not doing what they need to do on the background, and then blaming the coach so that the fans blame the coach. Because you bring in a manager that wants to win, you don't back him, he doesn't win, and then everyone blames the manager. Conte should be doing better. We've got world-class players. Yeah, we do, but so does everyone else. Like, so that's a really tough ask to like not support the manager, and then ask, is Conte the problem? So then I took it a step deeper. So Conte, and here's where Conte is slightly the problem, because in that sense I said no, it's not his problem. It's the boards. It's Levy, where they don't back him. Here's where it is Conte's problem. You don't have a bleeping back line, man. Like he doesn't know. He will not change. He will not change his first 11. He will not change his formation. He will not change his style, even though he knows we've got one competent center back that can play in a 3-man. One. And he plays a 3-man back every flipping week with the same 3 players, save for throw it in Longley every once in a while. Like, so that's where it is Conte's problem. If you keep trying the same daggone thing, it's not going to get different results.
Right, but do you think his point is that like, hey, give me the players to play my system?
Like he's proven a point by playing the players that he gave him, but he's not proven that point because he's not playing the players that they gave him. He's not playing Spence. He's not playing
Spence.
He's not playing Richarlison. He's not playing Gill. He's not playing anybody else than the same 11, and he waits till the 75th minute to sub anybody.
I mean,
so that's where the blame comes on Conte.
All right, I hear you, and I agree with you. Like once Conte has his 11, that's his 11. Like that's kind of his like thing.
That's okay. But if this is his 11, I have a problem with that.
But is Hill better than Son?
No.
Is Hill better than Kulusevski? Who would you rather have in there? Is Richarlison better than any of those 3?
I'm saying adjust your formation where Gill can play the 10.
Okay, but do you have? So you said you have one center back that can play 3. Do you have
play a 4-3-3
2 that can play? Do you have 2 that can play in the middle like that?
Yeah, it would be Dyer and Romero. Romero would beat the crap out of Dyer if he's out of position. When it's 3, it's tough to get you have to have 3 independent thinkers on the back line. You have to have 3 team players all working as one unison when it's 3. When it's 2, Romero could be like, "Hey, meathead, get in line," because he's right beside him.
Yeah,
It's a little bit different. They're a little bit spread out in the back line in the 4.
I don't know. I don't think any of this, to me personally, if you were asking me the question, I put all of this on ANIC and Levy.
Yeah.
I think that
okay.
they have been terrible stewards of Tottenham over the last 10 years. But I think also you have to have an honest look at Tottenham Hotspurs. And this is going to be rich coming from an Arsenal fan. But like, what are your expectations as a Tottenham fan? Like, as a Tottenham fan, what are your expectations? But then also, what are the club's expectations? Like, the club is presenting itself, in my estimation, that they believe that they are the cream of the crop of England, that they are in the upper echelon of English football. They have one of the nicest stadiums in England, probably the nicest stadium in England. It's the newest, but it's also got like all the bells and whistles and all that. They have a brand new training center. They're doing these documentaries with Amazon. They're presenting themselves. They joined the Super League like when it was lulls that Arsenal and Spurs were being included in the Super League. Like,
I was surprised.
So they're presenting themselves as a member of the upper echelon, as the aristocracy of English football. And so if you're a fan of Tottenham and you look at the way the club presents itself, you say, okay, well, they think that they're punching with the big dogs. They think that they are a big dog. So I need to expect them to act like a big dog and win some stuff. And so like, then your expectations as a Spurs fan gets elevated, right? But then you have to look at like, Spurs aren't financially competing with Manchester City. Spurs aren't financially competing with United. Spurs aren't financially competing with Chelsea. They're not financially competing with Liverpool either, because apparently Liverpool make an asinine amount of money, but they just don't spend it.
They just choose not to use it. But
it's like,
but
that's my point.
They actually made more money than Arsenal.
I know.
So I think so to Brad's point a little bit ago, he was talking about Chelsea of the buyer, flip the roster and then replace and replace and replace and replace. And I get that. While that was going on, I went and looked back at the salaries because I pulled that up earlier. We were talking about something pre-production. We are starting to flip the roster, just as Arsenal did about 2 years ago. We've got Kulusevski at 21. This is at the beginning of the season. These are barring birthdays. Got Kulusevski at 21. We've got Romero at 23. We've got Richarlison at 24. We've got Bentancur at 24. We've got Sanchez at 25. We've got Session at 21. We've got Basuma at 25. We've got Royal, as much as I hate to admit that, at 23. Gill at 20. Spence at 21. Tanganga at 22. Sarr at 19. And apparently Conte really likes Sarr. He's just not ready. Like that's starting to flip the roster.
No.
Now we just need, like, Perisic was a Band-Aid, like that type of stuff of like, let's just get it till Session's ready. Let's get something till Session's ready.
That's a David Luiz signing.
Here's the
It's
question,
starting to
though.
flip.
And like, to get that flip right, do you sell Harry Kane?
I knew you were going to ask this when you started the question, and I'm not personally ready to sell Harry Kane.
Because like, based on what you're saying, is it like Tottenham needs the roster flip? Based on what you're saying, that means you guys are not competing for Premier League, which means I don't know why you have Conte as your manager if you don't think you can compete for the Premier League. Like, if you're flipping the roster, Conte's not the one.
The only one. No, he's not.
Like, he doesn't hate young players, but he uses young players sparingly, and if they fit a certain profile.
Well, the only things that are going to flip the roster in a Conte way are Harry Kane and Heung-min Son
being sold.
And you would sell the club's chosen one.
Yeah, this would be a riot.
Or the fan favorite. Everyone loves Heung-min Son.
Well, if you do, then that money cannot invest that money like Bale.
And let's be honest, our ticket to Eastern Asia money. Like, let's be honest. Like, Sun sells a lot of tickets and a lot of jerseys and a lot of merch
He's the most.
in Korea, Eastern Asian. Yeah,
He's probably the highest
like
profile Asian player in the world.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do that, you cannot then go spend it like you spent that bail money.
No,
Which is funny because like you're gonna have to spend some bail money for a Paratici soon.
I see what.
Oh,
you did
okay.
there.
So speaking about Paratici, so Paratici used to be employed at a club out of Turin in Italy. This football club is Juventus, and Juventus today or this weekend was adjudged to have been. I forget how the Italians say it, but they were cooking the books. And so the president, the former president of Juventus, Andrea Agnelli, he's been banned from football activities for 2.5 years. Pavel Nedved, who was a director, was for 1.5 years. Some other directors at Juve were banned for some amount of time. But then also included in that list for being banned from football-related activities in Italy was Paratici for his role during the
So
COVID stuff.
How does that apply to his current role? Is he just not allowed to negotiate in Italy, or
So the Italian Football Federation have asked UEFA and FIFA to extend that to any competitions that they also oversee. And I think technically, if you go far enough, UEFA has some sort of overseeing body on the Premier League, right? And so I guess the idea is that Paratici may or may not be banned from football-related activities for 2.5 years, and that would leave Tottenham Hotspurs without a footballing director.
No, we'd have a football director. It'd
No.
be just the same one we've had for 10 years.
Oh, that one. That
Daniel
guy.
Levy. The bald,
Yes.
the bald emperor himself.
The
Now,
player
all of this,
player plus cash guy.
through all of this chaos, right? And like I think the manager that you can convince to stay for a rebuild because he's used to it. When does Pochettino come back?
It's not coming back.
Why would he come back?
Why would he?
Oh,
We don't want him.
This feels like
listen,
a Daniel Levy homecoming. Come on home.
No,
Jose Mourinho, Chelsea
as a
type
collective
moment.
fans, we had our time with Pochettino. It was great. I don't want to see it go sour. Like, I have a fond memory of Pochettino. It ended on relative good terms. He ended up at PSG. We ended up in Nightmare City, but we ended up with Conte. Like, it's all good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's good.
There's other managers.
Let it be. Yeah, let it be.
Like,
we don't need Pochettino.
Okay.
I don't want the homecoming.
Hasenhutl's out of a job. Steven Gerrard's out of a job. Frank Lampard's out of a job.
Nothing. Don't get Lampard anywhere near here.
Tuchel already said no, I think. I think Tuchel said no, he doesn't want Tottenham.
Oh, I forgot about Tuchel. Tuchel apparently wants like Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
Shit. Y'all made me. I had a point and then I forgot it.
Sorry. I don't know. I think
Poch.
Right.
I'm telling you, like that seems like a Daniel Levy move, does it not?
It does.
It's the Levy move
because he's trying
to. If Levy's back in control of operations with the transfers, then we can get Royal for Hakimi plus some cash going on.
All Levy is trying to do at this point is engender love from the Tottenham fans. Like that's all he cares about is trying to make himself not be the villain.
Bring in Hakimi. Come on.
I mean, yes.
Hakimi's not leaving PSG or Tottenham.
Come on, Hakimi.
We'll see.
Sorry, it's not happening.
We got any Moroccan listeners? If we do, please tell your local. Where
are you going with this?
Government official. I don't know. Like let's get some support going in Morocco.
Right. Does one of you guys have trivia? Who's got trivia? Okay, Sean's got trivia. Let's do it, Sean.
I'm gonna extend it though. James.
Okay.
A little bit further for Brad, not for the two of us.
Yep.
I'm gonna extend it.
Oh no.
So I will give you bonus points for our teams. But so the PFAs are the player of the years chosen by their peers. These are chosen by the Players Association. These are voted on by the players, and I will limit it to the Premier League era. So in that time, Arsenal have 3 winners, Chelsea have 3 winners, and Tottenham have 2 winners. You have to guess your 3 winners, and I will give you a bonus point for each one of our people that you guess.
I mean, I need 4 guesses.
Well,
All right, so you get 4 wrong guesses. 4 wrong guesses.
I just need 4 guesses, period.
All right, 4 guesses for Chelsea's. All right.
I think.
I will be impressed if you get it in 4 guesses. I will be really honest with you.
What, 3 PFAs?
Yeah, and these are chosen by their peers. I just want you to remember
people
that.
who've won Player of the Year PFA title.
Yep, these are Player of the Year chosen by their peers.
Yeah. Okay, maybe 5. Sorry, 5.
Okay,
5
no, all right.
legends,
I'll give you 5. You're not getting one of them. And it's not in the 90s.
Just all right. I want to hear these guesses then.
Hazard.
Yep. That's
Lampard.
the one I knew you would get. There's your wrong answer.
Is that was the one I was trying? Drogba.
That is your second wrong answer. You gotta bang out the next 2.
Terry.
Oof. That's the one I never thought you would get.
The greatest defender ever in the Premier League. Okay, and
I'm
check.
surprised.
Was my 5th one.
Who?
Peter Cech.
No, you missed. N'Golo Kante, first year.
Fuck.
I thought that was the one you were gonna get because you say he's the best midfielder of all time. All right, so
I didn't say that, but yes, wow.
But bonus points. You should be able to get
At least one Arsenal.
At least one Arsenal, probably 2, and you will get at least one. You will get one of the 2 Tottenhams.
He'll only get
Henry.
Yes, He won it twice.
Kane.
No, hasn't been voted amongst his peers yet.
Son.
No.
You didn't win last year. Okay. Bale.
Yes, you got the one I knew you would get for Tottenham, and you got the one I knew you would get for Arsenal.
You wanna throw any more Arsenal names out there?
Van Persie.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the one James almost didn't get.
Yeah, that's the one I almost didn't get.
Because it was the year before he went to United, so it was like kind of in that delineation year of like, is he with us? Is he not? You're not going to get our other one, so I'll throw that one out. I'll just tell you that's David Ginola.
Yeah, no.
Dennis Bergkamp was the other Arsenal one.
I was gonna say Bergkamp. I really was gonna say Bergkamp.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's good.
Bad.
That's good trivia.
That wasn't bad. You didn't think I'd get John Terry?
If you guess
that was the one I thought you would forget, and then I would also thought you would forget, and the fact that he's a center back, I wouldn't have thought your mind would have went there.
All right,
that a center back won him.
All right, I'm going to throw this out there. If you guys want to suggest trivia questions for us, I'm going to make a trivia channel in our Discord. Join our Discord, throw trivia questions in there, and we'll figure out a way to work them into the podcast. But that's all we got for news. Check back tomorrow. We've got a preview of the FA Cup 4th round proper. Brad's got a big deep dive into Chelsea in the FA Cup, so we'll be getting into that tomorrow. So definitely don't want to miss that. That's at KSBradG. At Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at redcard_radio. Smash the subscribe button. Give the video a like. Follow, 5-star, all those things. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Have a good one.